You know, a lot of times you hear some voters say, oh, my vote don't count or my vote don't matter. This is one instance where that's actually true. If districts are redrawn with corruption in mind, it makes it where representatives are choosing their voters rather than voters choosing their representatives.
Give it to me right now, pipe down, lights out. Give a little more, got me circling the block now. Looking around non-stop, can I have a little more? Like a drug, got me strung out, tongue out, been a while. If I had a little more, I would never have to go out, show out, put it down. I need a little more.
Give you more. Yeah. How you running down on your ball, on your ball? My look, backstage on the tour. Girls, shut the door, shut the door. That one speak a little French when I give her that. Put it in the drawer, then I sex her to sleep. Got a hood one, but she for the streets. Make sure I keep a condom on deck when I give her the beat.
That right there was my latest joint. It's from my mixtape called It's Been a Minute Since I Did One of These. I've been telling y'all about that for a few weeks now, and it's finally here, finally out. Certain songs can be found on all streaming platforms. Just search HWD. It's been a minute since I did one of these. And the entire mixtape can be found on SoundCloud and YouTube. Just come follow my page. You'll be sure to find a link somewhere. And now let's get ready to get into what's hot in these blogs. So today I want to talk about redistricting or gerrymandering. There's a lot of chatter right now about what's going on in certain states, so we're going to dive into it. Now, one thing I've been saying on this show for the longest time is what I've noticed the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats is how the Republicans tend to play the long game. With Democrats, it feels, especially with a lot of the Democratic voters, it feels that a lot of us want instant results. And we all know change doesn't happen overnight. But a lot of people have that mentality of this person doesn't check all the boxes of what I want a candidate to look like, so I'm not voting for them. Or they did X, Y, Z in the past. They not really for us, blah, blah, blah. I'm not voting for them. So instead, I'm going to put my vote over here with someone else who stands no chance of winning at all, but it helps my conscience because this person doesn't check all the boxes. And the difference between the Republicans in playing the long game and the reason why we have a 30-some-odd time felon in the White House, Mr. Jeffrey Epstein's former BFF, Mr. Grab him by the, Mr. Hide the list. That's the reason why he's in that White House, because they're playing the long game. It's also the reason why Roe versus Wade was overturned. That's not something that happened overnight. They've been playing the long game, putting the pieces in place so when the time is right, they can checkmate. We got to get on board. So what we are in the midst of right now is a play from that long game playbook. Let's take a trip over to Texas. Right now in Texas, they are trying to redraw the lines because your boy 4547 flat out told the governor, Greg Abbott, that he wants or needs 5 more seats in the House. They know the midterms are coming up, and they know that even some of his most loyal MAGA fan base not really feeling how he's moving right now. And they know there's a good chance they're going to lose a lot of seats, and we can potentially flip the Senate come the midterms next year. So what are they doing? Playing the long game, setting the pieces in place to ensure that doesn't happen. Now, redistricting isn't something new. It happens every 10 years following the census. And this is where states will redraw their legislative and congressional district lines. The reason they do this is because communities change, right? People move, populations grow or shift. So essentially, maps are redrawn to ensure that districts are equally populated. And this is to comply with certain laws. Just think the Voting Rights Act. So if done right, it's supposed to be a representative of the state's population. But sometimes it's used for the wrong reasons, like to manufacture election outcomes. You know, a lot of times you hear some voters say, oh, my vote don't count or my vote don't matter. This is one instance where that's actually true. If districts are redrawn with corruption in mind, it makes it where representatives are choosing their voters rather than voters choosing their representatives. And that's gerrymandering. Now, the redistricting in Texas just happened a few years ago in 2021. And as I mentioned, it's every decade. So that is set to last from 2022 to the year of 2031. So why are we here in the middle of that decade and they're trying to do another redistricting? Because they're trying to rig the playing field. They're trying to ensure that they keep the seats that they already have and gain new ones. And as I mentioned, your boy's approval rating, even amongst his core base, isn't looking too good at the moment. So they're trying to rig the system. This is why it's important for our voices to be heard. This is why it's important for us to not be silent when it comes to these things. Spread the word. We can't just sit back and expect that the system is going to work the way it's supposed to work, because the system is broken. We've been knew the system was broken. Even when it comes to the talk of him being a potential dictator, I've seen people say like, oh, that would never happen here, XYZ. And it's like, keep sleeping. Y'all already effed around and found out once. We're in the middle of that right now. Don't think anything is impossible. It might not look the way North Korea looked. It might not look the way Hitler and Germany looked. But if you have someone in a position of power and they're controlling every single branch of the government, they have a bunch of yes men and puppets that are just waiting for that word and ready on hand to do whatever this person says. That's dictatorship. It's not to say we're going to have tanks riding down Fifth Avenue, but we can have some strong arming. We can have people being investigated for no reason. We can have people having arrest warrants issued for them. We can have the shutting down of certain media. We can have the threats of funding being pulled. We can have unfair treatment if we don't agree with his policies. These are all forms of dictatorship. So yes, it's very possible. We can't sit idly by and watch this happen. There are talks that there are some Democratic ran cities that are preparing to fight fire with fire. If Texas goes through with this redistricting and cheat the system to give the Republicans more seats, these Democratic ran states, word on the street is they're planning to do the same. And high key, that's what I'm here for. That's what we need. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick and tired of the Democrats playing coy and playing by the rules. You can't play by the rules with someone who burnt the rule book years ago. These is doing their own thing. Ain't no rule book. So you got to fight fire with fire. When they go low, you got to go lower. You can't take the high road with slime balls. It's never going to work in your favor. Never. So regarding Texas, I recommend follow Jasmine Crockett on Instagram. She's one of the Congress people in Texas, and she's one of the people who would be affected by this redistricting, because we all know they hate a strong voice. And she's a Black woman. They're trying to do everything in their power to make sure she's carved right out of the picture. I recommend following her on Instagram. She gives a lot of updates on what's happening. They've been doing protests. They've been doing town halls. They've been fighting the good fight. There's a lot of senators in Texas who left the state to avoid having to vote on this matter. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of moving parts. We just got to keep our eyes open and do what we can, because at the end of the day, they're not playing fair, so neither should we. And now right there is going to conclude what's hot in the blogs for this week. Thank you for watching. If you rock with your boy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's called Holliewood and Friends, which means I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the topics I just discussed. I appreciate you. New episodes every Monday night. Until next time, deuces.